Hey everybody, Drew here. So today we're looking at the new Line 6 Helix Stadium XL, which I've had for about a week. I got it a little bit late. I didn't have early access to it or anything. I spent my own money on it. So everything you'll hear is my true opinion. I'll be completely objective on this. Starting from my first thoughts, so I had certainly like 2 or 3 days to watch other videos before I got mine. And I heard everybody raving about the stock presets. So that's the first thing I did once I updated the firmware and started messing around with it, was go through all of the stock presets. And I thought they were garbage. I was really disappointed. And I'm glad I gave it another shot, because I woke up the next morning after playing it for about 15 minutes through the stock presets. Woke up the next morning pretty much ready to send it back, box it up and send it back to Sweetwater. I'm glad I didn't, because the next thing I did was to create some presets from scratch, from the ground up, based on what I know I would like. And that opened up a whole new world, that's for sure, and totally changed my mind from my initial impression of the unit. So that's why I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to take you through that first preset I built. I'm going to build it from scratch again and show you what I like about the unit as well. Some of the new features that I think are great. I'll point those out as I build the preset. Okay, so now I'm going to build a preset from scratch, and I'm just going to use the Helix Stadium hardware itself. I prefer that now over the over using the desktop app. Now you can obviously use the desktop app via Wi-Fi, which is a nice feature for sure. But with the addition of the touchscreen on the Helix Stadium, it has made it pretty seamless to build a preset, to edit a preset, and to do pretty much everything. Well, to do really everything on the hardware itself, which is great. And this touchscreen is absolutely fantastic. Quad Cortex was the first one, as far as I'm aware, to put a touchscreen on a modeler. They kind of set the standard. I think the Tone Master Pro by Fender really upped the standard as far as both touchscreen and user interface goes. And now I think Line 6 has leveled it up even further. This touchscreen is the best touchscreen I felt on any modeler, or really any piece of music equipment so far. It's very responsive, and it's a matte finish, which is a very nice touch, very nice attention to detail, because with overhead lights in a live situation, in a studio situation, it's definitely, there's no glare. It's definitely super easy to see and dial in. And that's really great in my opinion. So yeah, let's start by adding an amp. So you can do it one of either two ways. So you can start with the favorite block, or you can start with an amp block by itself. So obviously that's the favorites is a new feature, of course, on the Helix Stadium, as far as I'm aware. So you can save in its own folder. You can save amp blocks presets, cab block presets, FX block presets, which is super nice. So obviously here you can see I've got a few presets that I've created in the last week or so. I'm not going to start with the preset though. I'm going to start by adding an amp block from scratch. So I'm going to use an Agora model, the US Double Black, which is a twin reverb. So yeah, we'll start out with that. And the cool thing is you can add, you can click this toggle, and anytime you add an amp, it will automatically add the cab block, which is a super nice feature. Because sometimes, you forget to add the cab block, or you don't add the cab block yet, and you start playing and it sounds like garbage. And that prevents you from doing that. So we're going to go into focus view. Focus view is also nice. Not only does it give you the visual representation of the amp, the cab, or the effects, but it also gives you the ability to use your finger and swipe between different sounds. I'm not going to do that yet. I'll show you that on a on the effects or the cab models. But I've noticed here, which is really cool, it actually loaded my my user default setting, I guess, which is the last, I didn't know it did this. So the last time I set up this amp, these are the settings I dialed in. I didn't save anything with that, but it automatically loaded these settings in, which is the dialed in amp, which is super nice. This is how I would normally dial it in. And I'll show you what it sounds like just with very minimal settings. I just, I put the drive on 4, bright switch off, bass on 3, middle on 6, treble on 6, master on 10. That's kind of my starting point, and here's what it sounds like. So, no, I mean, nothing groundbreaking yet, but it's a good stock starting sound. I think where the magic really starts to come in is in the cabinet blocks, and this is like the first time, definitely within a Line 6 modeler, that I have not felt the need to import and recall my own IRs. The Tone Master Pro, I found their cab blocks are pretty good, and I don't have to bring in IRs on those. But these, I think, are even a step ahead of the Tone Master Pro from what I can see so far. And I'll point out some of those reasons. But yeah, I think the average user, most people, are going to be just fine with just the stock cab blocks. I know I am, and I'm pretty anal when it comes to the cabinet simulations. So I've got a 121 mic. I'm going to put the position on center, distance of 12 inches, no angle, low cut 80 hertz, high cut 8K. That's fine. So you're not going to hear much of a difference from what I just played, because all I did was change the positioning a little bit. That's starting to get closer to where I like it. Now, obviously, I don't remember you being able to do this on the OG Helix. Obviously, you could add multiple cab blocks there, but this is kind of built in to the single cab block, where you can add another one, which is a nice feature. So I'm going to add another 2x12 double C12N block, and I'm going to dial it in pretty much the same, except I'm going to use a 4038 ribbon mic, and I'll actually dial in the same settings. And obviously you can see there's a visual representation in focus view as well, but it's not going to be any different than, it pretty much sounds the same as it did with the single block. But this is where Line 6 went above and beyond with this, in my opinion. So in other modelers, in the OG Helix, you could add 2 blocks, two different cabs, or 2 mics on the same cab, and pan them hard left and hard right, and you'd still have just a mono sound. It wasn't a wide stereo sound like you would expect in real life when you have 2 cabinets or 2 mics on 1 cabinet. You expect a stereo spread, and there's not another modeler that does that, including the OG Helix, but this does. So I'll pan 1 cab hard left, 1 cab hard right, and then you've got a delay setting. So I'm going to set that delay to 32 milliseconds, so short delay. So that's the delay between the left and the right cab, which now simulates an actual stereo cab setting. So now you got the what sounds to me like a stereo mic cabinet, which is exactly what you'd expect and exactly what I've always wanted out of modelers. And that's been my biggest criticism of all of them up until now. You have to um, use effects or um, you know, special tricks to get that stereo imaging. This you don't have to do it, and this is like now I've literally got just the amp and the cabinet block, and I've got a sound that I would record with. So yeah, right there, I would, just with the amp and the cabinet block, I would be fine recording a clean song or a clean sound for a song with just that. So that's super impressed. Like I'm super impressed at this point. Like that's everything I want out of a modeler sound. That sounds to me like I don't have it up against another modeler or another, my Pro Reverb or anything, but that sounds pretty close. I'm super happy with that. I would record with that. So now, next thing I want to do is explore some of the distortions, which I haven't done yet. I've explored the fuzzes, not the distortions and overdrives. I've been super critical of Line 6's distortions, overdrives, and even their fuzzes. I have historically not liked them, so I'm not sure what to expect here. But yeah, let's see, starting with the overdrives or the boosts. Like so far, and it's like the first 8 or so, or 6 or 8. So far, like these haven't changed from the OG Helix as far as I'm aware. But going into the Agora model, I think these sound really good, which I'm like super surprised and kind of impressed. Let's keep going through them. Not a fan of that one, the Alpaca Rouge. A compulsive drive I like a lot. Like these, I'm really liking all of these so far, except for that Alpaca Rouge one. I like this Pillars, which is based on the Earthquaker Plumes. I like that one a lot too. Really like the Super Overdrive, which is Boss OD1 or SD1. like all these boss ones so far. See the rat. I like the rat. And the last one is the legendary. Yeah, I mean, except for like one or two, I really like all of these. The compulsive drive, full tone OCD. I actually really like this one. So I can take it to focus mode, and now I can dial it in a little bit more. So yeah, that's a cool way to dial in the distortion, in my opinion. I really like that. So I'll keep that compulsive drive. Now I'm really interested in what can I do with the fuzzes. Obviously I'm building a Shoegaze preset and I need a fuzz, but I like that for like a, just a overdrive sound. That compulsive drive is great. So let's start with a Swedish chainsaw, which I believe is the HM2, which is actually what I would, one of my favorite fuzz distortions. That's what I would use for Shoegaze fuzz or overdrive in real life. See what it sounds like. Yeah, I like that. Like right off the bat, that sounds exactly what I would, it sounds like an HM2, and that's what I would want right out of the box. But let's see what else is on tap and available. The arbitrator. I like that. Pocket fuzz. I like that. Not a fan of that one. That's the first one I'm not a fan of. So I think all those fuzzes except for that one Taiko Octavia, whatever, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Taiko. Why can't I say that? Oh, Taiko Octavia. It's hard to challenged right now, but I'm gonna go with the Swedish chainsaw, and I'm just gonna dial the treble down a little bit and the bass up a little bit, drive up a little bit. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that sounds great. Also, I'm gonna dial in a couple of different reverbs. First being the room, the dynamic ambience. I should have dialed this one in a little earlier because I like this just as kind of a stock room sound. So yeah, I like to have that just as a stock reverb sound. But now, obviously, I want a shoegaze reverb, and I'm going to put it before the distortion. I've actually got a preset for that, shoegaze reverse, and that's what it sounds like. Let me take the dynamic ambience off. That I don't like the both of those on at the same time, so that's much better. Now let's hear it with the HM2 or the Swedish chainsaw. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's everything I would want out of my reverse reverb for shoegaze. And the nice thing about this is you can set it 100% wet, and there's like no delay like you would expect for most, like even stomp box reverse reverbs. A lot of them can't go 100% wet without like a huge delay, or like, you know, you bring in the pre-delay to combat that, and it, you know, it's just a problem. This is like, it's right out of the box. It works for shoegaze. So it's like, that's perfect. So yeah, it's like with that reverse and the Swedish chainsaw, I mean, that's like that's right there is my stock shoegaze preset, really. Yeah, wow. Like that's, to me, that's like we're almost there. There's a few things that I would like to add. Obviously, I want to delay, and like the delays in this guy are just phenomenal, in my opinion. Like, you can't go wrong with any of these delays. The dual delay, like all these delays are good. The multi-tap, I think my favorite delay on here is the vintage digital, and I love the modulation on this, and I love setting it like 10 or 11 bits, and then dialing back the sample rate, put the feedback up a little bit. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely save that. I love that vintage digital, and since this has got tons of power, let's explore what else. Oh, another one I really like. I like the Cosmos Echo a lot too. And another favorite of mine is the Elephant Man delay. With the chorus setting, up the depth a little bit. So yeah, that's a great sound. I love the glitch delay as well. And even the ADT is really cool too. You can dial in some cool like double track settings. So I really love this automatic double track. So yeah, that's a cool setting as well. And then of course I need a chorus. Let's dial in a stereo chorus. And I do love this plastic chorus. I think this is roughly where I would normally dial it in. Oh yeah. That's one thing that bugs me about this is obviously you hit the different, just touch the foot switches and it selects that one. I've accidentally, inadvertently hit those a lot and not realize it, and I'm changing the settings on the wrong effect. So that's one thing I wish. I mean, it's a great feature, but it drives me crazy because I do things wrong every now and then. But can't really complain. And I think it would be kind of cool if, like on the Quad Cortex or the Tone Master Pro, you're able to have the potentiometers on the foot switch. I think that's a nice touch. You know, editing parameters with the knobs there is fine, and doesn't cause any problems. But that would have been cool to be able to do. But let's see. Now I've got the chorus. Let me dial in one more reverb to round out the sound. One additional reverb. And here, this is the first limitation that I've come up on. I can't dial. I've got 2 reverbs and I can't dial in another one. So let me go to. That's bizarre. That blows my mind. I thought I could at least get 3 reverbs in here, but it won't let me. So I'm gonna have to replace the dynamic ambience. I just want like a plate. I love all these. I think all these reverbs are phenomenal. I don't know why it's not letting me. I can't even pick the. It won't let me change it out for a plate. Let me see if I remove. Let me clear the block. And add back in there. That's weird. I've only got one other reverb on there and it's not letting me pick some of these. I want the plate, the dynamic plate. Let's see, glitz. I don't know why I'm running into the limitation there. I totally did not expect to not be able to put all of the effects that I wanted in this in this preset. Maybe I'll come back with an update later if I can figure out what's going on. I don't think it's a huge deal, but this is a cool ambient sound. Let me rearrange the reverb after. So I mean, this clean sound is just phenomenal in my opinion. the shoegazy sound. Cool, and then it's kind of the classic overdrive sound. Let me change out the reverb just so I can see what it sounds like with the more traditional reverb. What do I want? I just realized I don't know how to change from one effect to the other. Oh, there we go. That was going to be embarrassing. So just a more reasonable reverb. Let's see. So cool. Yeah. So some surprising things there. Like I said, I haven't logged that many hours with this. Like I kind of just did a quick run through before, like just to get an idea of what I was going to showcase. So I didn't know what limitations I was going to run into. So just right off the cuff, some of the surprising things. The overdrives, distortions, and fuzzes, they kind of blew me away. I was not expecting to enjoy them so much. They sound really good, really good. In general, the new Agora amp models, I mean, I've only really, you know, I went through some other ones to see what I would like. I didn't get to play them all yet, but the Twin just kind of struck me right off the bat. So that's what I've been using so far. I like it. I think the Twin sounds great, and I'm really surprised. From an effects perspective, I mean, it's no surprise. The digital effects, they sound amazing, as they do on the HX effects, the HX1, the Helix, the HX Stomp. Line 6 makes a good digital effect. I'm trying to think, you know, the only, you know, from a multi-effects perspective, I like my Helix and HX Stomp ones. I like the ALM Busy Circuits MFX, which is up there. And then the H90 is my other like big multi-effects unit. I think I've always thought that the Line 6 effects were like in that top tier with the H90. With the new set of converters and going through the Agora amp models, I mean, from an effects perspective, I'm like super pleased, super like impressed with the effects. Like, I don't know what else to say. I always have been impressed with them, but like even more so now. The big surprise there was I ran into the limitation with the reverb. I thought surely with all this processing power, I would have been able to squeeze 3 reverbs in. Not the case. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. And one of those reverbs was a mono, so it was just one mono. Like the reverse reverb was a mono reverb, and then I had the one stereo reverb, and I couldn't add a third one in. That shocks me. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. If I can, I'll post an update later if I figure out what the deal was there. The other big takeaway is like I was able to do everything I wanted to do on this unit without using the desktop app, and I did it all through the hardware itself, and that's impressive. The only other time I've been able to do that comfortably is on the Tone Master Pro. This has just as good of an experience. I think they've taken it to the next level with the focus view. And overall, like from going from my initial impressions, running through the stock presets, thinking this thing sucks, to now having created a preset or two of my own. Like I can't believe I went from one extreme to the other. I really think this is a great unit. What I will say, like I don't know if I can't answer the question of whether it's worth it or not to buy this new one if you already have a Helix or an HX Stomp. What I can say from my perspective, I never got a usable sound, in my opinion, and maybe I just suck with modelers. Maybe it's definitely probably a me thing, like not being able to get a good sound out of the HX Stomp or the Helix OG. But I can't. I was never able to get a sound that I would like want to record with, and like immediately, pretty instantly with this guy, I got, to me, a recording worthy sound, and a sound that really blew me away from a shoegaze perspective. Like, it's everything I would want. So I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, it's a lot of money for this unit, but for me, like I would record with this, I would gig with this, and not even think twice about it. So from my perspective, I think it's worth it. I think the Tone Master Pro is worth it. Every other modeler that I have in my collection or that I've had over the years, I wouldn't record with, I wouldn't play live with. The Tone Master Pro I would, this guy I would, and I'm like literally have logged less than an hour on this. Doing this demo is the longest I've played this for, and I'm enjoying it. So while it is expensive, to have something that I would, consider to rival my, my real amps and effects pedals, I would say it's worth it. But, that's me. I could talk myself around in circles on that topic. So I'll just leave it at that. I think it's worth it because in very little time I got what I consider to be good recording ready sounds. There are plenty of other people, probably most people that have a Helix OG or an HX Stomp probably get better sounds out of it than me, and that's fantastic. I'm glad that people can do that and be better than me at modelers. But yeah, that's my circular thought process there. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the sounds. I'm gonna definitely do some more with the HX, not the HX, with the Helix Stadium. So stay tuned, and yeah,